turn this fan off, even though it's fucking 100 degrees in here. So hot. Hello YouTube. Today I think I'm going to do a sit down chatty video rather than a vlog. So, if you've watched anything on this channel, you'd have seen that I did a why I quit tattooing video. And I thought I would do why I wanted to go into tattooing. So, it's going to be kind of me just rambling and spilling out information and talking about apprenticeships, etc. So it's basically why I wanted to become a tattoo apprentice or a tattoo artist. So let's start with why, I guess. I wanted to go into tattooing because I loved tattoos. I saw people with tattoos from a young age. I would what me and my cousins would do, we would design video game characters, and all the video game characters I did had tattoos. They'd always have a fucking dragon wrapped around their arm or some shit like that. That was the thing I did. All the main characters in the video games that I was designing had a dragon wrapped around their arm, and I would do that. And my mum had tattoos, my dad has a tattoo, and I would just be gravitated toward people that had them. And even from a young age I told my parents that I wanted tattoos and I wanted to be pierced and whatever. Explains why I've had 17 facial piercings, my ears have been stretched. Yeah, so I've had things from septum piercing to microdermals to lip to eyebrow to tragus to ear, etc. So I wanted to go into tattooing because I loved tattoos from a really young age. I gravitated towards people that had them. I'd been around them. As I said, my mum had them. My dad had one. My mum knew a lot of people with them, like not heavily tattooed, like small ones. And I'd always love the old, like blurred kind of tattoos that you see. So like from the 50s, 60s, 70s, where tattooing wasn't so much an art form, it was like a rebellion, and that's what I loved. I loved the rebellion of getting a tattoo. It was like the most badass thing. Like bikers and like musicians, they had tattoos because they were like rebellious and they were the people you wanted to be. So following that, when I was 13, I decided this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna become a tattoo artist, and I started planning the tattoos I wanted. Originally I wanted it on this arm. I kind of started it, I got an anchor. I wanted a huge nautical sleeve. I wanted a lighthouse. I wanted a clipper ship. I wanted roses. I wanted waves. I wanted blue everywhere. But kind of as you get older, you kind of change what you want. And I got my first tattoo when I was 17, which was the one on my wrists. Don't know if you'll be able to see that. Right. So I got my first tattoo on my wrists, and it says "Our doubts are traitors," and that was the pinnacle. I had been in a tattoo shop for the first time, and I was like, "Shit, I'm gonna become a tattoo artist." Fuck yeah. Fuck. I went on holiday with my mum, my stepdad, my brother, and my stepbrother. We went to Spain, and we were in a tattoo shop because my mum was getting a tattoo. By this point I had maybe 4 tattoos at that time, and yeah. And I was sitting in the tattoo shop waiting, and I was drawing, because I always used to pass the time by drawing. It was just something easy I could do. I could just doodle, have a little pen and paper. I was happy as Larry. And the guy who owned the shop was like, "That's really good. Why don't you..." I have a shop in England as well. Actually, the shop in England is now run by his son, who Ben knows, I think, or Ben knows of. He's a guy like Diamond Dave or something like that. And he's like, "I've got a shop in England. Contact me when you get back there, and we'll set something up." It's like, it was in Egham, so it was like miles out of the way for me to go anyway. But I kind of like was like, shit, like someone's actually taken interest in this. I can possibly do this. So when I got home from there, actually the week after I went to Amsterdam. So after I got back from Amsterdam, I set the task of me like obliterating drawing and shit. And then I went shop to shop to shop to shop. Actually, my mum gave me a boot up the arse and was like, "If you're not going to do it now, when are you going to do it?" So I was like, fuck yeah, and I need to do this. So I went around for ages. I know my last video said a week, but it was like, that's what it felt like, but it was forever. It was just, I was emailing people like, "Is there any way I can come in and talk to you?" And then I was like, okay, well, that's not getting a response, and it might not be the best way to do it because people are just going to go fuck off. Because it's so easy to just type 7 letters FUCKFOOFF. So I then went set off. I scoured London. I went from anywhere I knew there was personally a tattoo shop. And then I googled them all, and my best friend Kate came along with me for all of them. So shout out to Kate, my good luck charm. She's like a lucky charm, not the cereal, like the metaphorical, like good luck. Actually, I got some really good comments from a lot of places. So I went into Skunks in Islington. I don't know if it's still around. I think it is. They were like, your profile is good, but we're not looking for anyone. I was like, it's very. At this point, I was just doing traditional stuff because it's all I knew tattooing was. Like, I didn't know how to do like that. It was like portraits and color realism and stuff like that. And it was they're like, well, just work on some other stuff. And then I went into the shop where I actually got my apprenticeship, and they were like, sweet, come back in a month, bring your portfolio, and I did. I came back and everything was done, ready. I was ready to start, and I got told to start the next day. So now I'm going to talk more so about the apprenticeship itself. From what I know, it was a very traditional apprenticeship. I cleaned tubes, I made tea, I took appointments, I cleaned the studio, I helped people with designs, I actually drew designs for customers that others would tattoo, I set up stations, I got my hepatitis jabs, did all that stuff. So as far as I'm concerned, it was a very traditional apprenticeship. It's what I knew. And then what happened is they were like, okay, get some fake skin, tattoo that, blah, blah, blah. And then eventually came to doing my first tattoo. And I did my first tattoo on my friend Lolly. Rest in peace, Lolly. And from there on, it was kind of like dribs and drabs. I did like a couple of friends, and I had, like, in the beginning, I had no idea. I was just like stabbing a needle into people. And what I think is I started off okay, I got worse, and then started to get better. Because it come to a point where I was trying to get people to tattoo, and it was like so few and far between that it kind of like I would forget certain things and forget certain procedures. And then when I started to get more and more and more on a regular basis, I started to get better and better. I had a lot of people support me at this time, like the guys in the shop, like can't fault them. They did a lot of support for me. Then when I started to like go downhill a bit, it kind of weaned off because it seemed like I wasn't listening. But then as I started to give it was like, yeah, more. I struggled during my apprenticeship because I had no money. So I couldn't buy myself stuff to like further myself. So I couldn't buy machines and just housewives and stuff. So I relied on the kindness of the people I worked with to like help me out with that. So I used their machines, their inks, their needles, everything basically. And then when I started to did start to make some money, I was able to do it. I've still got a box full of shit down on that bookcase behind me. As I said, I really struggled because I had no money of myself. Like even travelling there some days was difficult. And then I damn fucked up, and I didn't show up when I was meant to be managing the desk, and I was let go. Then fast forward to 6 months later, when I managed to find myself full-time employment selling wedding dresses. This guy used to sell wedding dresses and fake Claire's stuff, I guess. It was like a Claire's accessories, but underneath was a wedding dress shop, and everything was buy one get one free. It was cheap shit from China, but we sold a lot of it for a very marked up price. But yeah, and when I was working there, I got a text, actually a tweet to say, come back, we miss you, blah blah blah, let's talk, let's start this over again. No one tells you how hard apprenticing is, especially when you're not making any money, because like everyone assumes like, oh, it's a tattoo apprenticeship, you're gonna make loads and loads of money. You fuck all. You make fucking nothing. You make maybe like when you start to tattoo, eventually you can make like maybe an apprentice rate, like maybe like 20 quid for a tattoo or up to £50 for a tattoo, and then depends on how the shop works. If you give them the format and it gets paid back to you, or you do half and half, or you do rent a space, etc. Majority of the time you live on tips, and depending on the type of shop you're in, if you're in a high-end, like well-known shop, you're more than likely to get tips from the artists as well and stuff like that, and because they're making a high income. Whereas in a street shop, my tips would be like, I had to be great at customer service. This is how I think I've got so far in retail in such a short amount of time. Is that customer service is key in that industry. It doesn't matter. Like, if you're not good to your customers, I don't get why people are going to want to come and see you. But I would survive on like maybe £10 tip a week, or maybe sometimes like one of the artists would be like, "Oh, you did a really good job. Thanks for doing my stencil. Thanks for doing this. Thanks for doing that. Thanks for doing this. Here's a fiver. Here's a tenner. Here's a 20. Here's 20, and whatever." Like I remember being in my first week or so there, and I was with the owner of the shop and the receptionist, and we stayed really really late, and I got a tip of 20 quid because it was like not expected of me to be staying there till like 2 a.m. in the morning, which happened so often. I was in that shop majority of my time. Like I was there until like 2 a.m. We did like 3 a.m., 4 a.m. because it's a street shop, so there's no. It's like you can take whatever you want. But I met some great people. It's like I met my friend Aitor there. I met the owner of the shop, Antony. He was great. Some of the others I don't really talk to now. So, and I got a lot of free tattoos. This is the thing as being an apprentice. Like when you have downtime, especially in a street shop, you end up getting tattooed. Like you end up getting tattooed. My legs are majority of the stuff I've got on my legs was free. From my Darth Vader to my Grim Reaper to the little Bible I've got on my leg, that was all free. So people are just like, "Oh, on board, let me tell you," and vice versa. It's like crazy. It's a crazy life. The main thing I found when ow. The main thing I found when working in a tattoo shop is like, you tell anyone you're a tattoo artist, someone wants to try and jump your bones. Like, as soon as you like say to someone, "Oh, I tattoo," or "I'm a tattoo apprentice," or "I've got some involvement in the tattoo industry," everyone's like, "Oh, I can get something free from him. Let me try and sleep with him, or let me like be in a relationship." It's like someone I tattooed once sent me a text message on New Year's Eve saying I was the love of their life. Bear in mind, this was a woman. At this point, I was not out. Like, we can go through my coming out story like at another day. It's literally just me crying and my mom going, "Meh, okay, so what?" I knew. So yeah, that was my coming out story. There you go. I did it. Coming out story was me crying a lot and my mom going, "Okay." But yeah, I don't know, how did I manage to get a coming out story into a tattoo story? These are my story times. They make no fucking sense. That's saying, I really enjoyed the tattoo industry. It was something I really, really enjoyed. As I said in my last one, who knows, I might go back to it. But there was a reason I couldn't make it work. So if you want to watch that video, I'll link it down below. And I'll actually, at the end of this, I'll put a little card in the corner so you can actually press that and just go straight to it. And I'll put it on the end of the video. But yeah, tattooing, great fun. Great fun. Stab needles into people for a living. Oh, I did some dumb stuff when I was apprenticing. You know, like we had a piercer in the shop, and it was like, "Oh, teach me how to pierce." You know what I did? I stabbed a fucking needle through my cheek because it was fleshy. I stabbed a needle in my cheek. Yeah, that's the tattoo world, or my experience of it. Like, as I said, I met some great people. I got some great tattoos, and I found a lot of artists through the tattoo industry, and I met some people through it as well. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, one of these, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you tomorrow. Who knows, maybe another storytime video, or maybe just another chatty video, maybe, who knows, tomorrow. That's it. I'm trying to get back on the track with this 30-day challenge, as I missed 2 days. Naughty me. Yeah, I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.